Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Gillison, and welcome back to this week's episode of Global Domination. Today is extremely special because, we've interviewed agents from all over the globe because that's what we're here to talk about. How do we dominate globally in the real estate industry? Well, today we have an amazing special guest who I'm extremely excited to have on. Years of experience in the real estate, which we'll dive into all of that history and all that greatness. But now today we have Amy Weaver, our Vice President of Growth at eXp Realty. And Amy, thank you for coming on today. I wanted to have you on because one, you're a humongous part of all of this growth that we're having to eXp, which is about 500 to 1,000 agents each and every single week. But in the news, specifically here recently, we've always been attracting brokerages, we've always been attracting mega teams. But it's like every day something huge is happening with all these mass brokerages. So that's why I wanted to have you on and dive into why all that's happening. We know why, but let's tell everybody else why, right?
Yeah, I would love to. I would absolutely love to talk about that. Yes, my calendar is full of brokerages that are wanting to meet and come over. It's really a testament to our agents, though, that are starting the conversations with these brokerage owners and really getting their pain points kind of dialed down. And when those brokerages get to be about a 6 or 7 on the scale for coming over, then the growth team is introduced to them. So what we're seeing, as we're having conversations with these brokerages is they need a succession plan. They're tired, they're burned out, they're having a lot of attrition. They're losing a lot of their agents to brokerages like eXp because of our scalability, our platform, all the different revenue streams. Like there's something in it more for those agents. And so they start to, scratch their head and be like, okay, like maybe there's something to this. And so liability reasons, they want less liability. We take that, on for them for the most part. They're able to scale their growth across the nation and actually globally. And it's no longer confined to their hyper local region. So the benefits of just looking at your brokerage and being able to partner with us and us lock arms and really grow together is super powerful for them. And they're seeing that they're going to increase profit. Sometimes there's a short term, like couple of steps backwards, but we're willing to work with them on a transition plan to get them over, get their agents acclimated over. We want to keep as many agents as we possibly can when they move over. So we're able to work out, a transition plan for them to come over here. And then the compliance, that we take care of. They have a broker. They're no longer the go-to for everything, and they're able to really relax as a broker owner and dive into their passion, which is a lot of times is growth that they have no time for because they're doing all the back end management. Even stuff as simple as like having like a front desk person. We have like the meta world, and we have the capabilities that so many other broker owners don't have to give to their agents, and the collaboration that we have. It's funny when you talk to these agents that have come over and the broker owners that have come over after they get acclimated to eXp, and they're like, this was a life-changing event, not only just for me, but for the agents that I brought with me. And they're earning stock and they're benefiting from revenue share. And so it's one of these things where it's like everybody benefits. It's not just the broker owner themselves, those agents that they bring over and they plug into what we have, and they're in the masterminds and they're in our training. We have 85 hours of training every week in the world, taught by the top agents. We don't just have anyone teaching, like it's agents that are actually out there doing, 28 to 32 transactions a year at a minimum. So they know what they're talking about. And if you're plugging into that and you're plugging into all things eXp, there's no way your business can't benefit. So that's what we're seeing.
Absolutely.
And yes, it's exciting when you think about just getting those broker owners to get beyond their ego, because, and I mean that with the most affection. They've built something and they're super proud of it, and as well as they should be. And so sometimes it's hard to say, oh my gosh, but they don't even have to give up their branding. It's really a brokerage within a brokerage. So we let them have that autonomy. So yeah, it's exciting.
That's right. And I think, we're all taught, get into real estate, become a mega producing agent. Next step is now it's time to own your own brokerage. I mean, that's how I was. I got into the business in 1999. I was 21 years old. By the time 2001 rolled around, I owned my own real estate company because I was doing well and wanted to scale off of making money off of other agents. And, I had a lot to teach those agents, even though I was young. And, that's exactly what happened to me throughout the years is, my name became on that building. And I thought, well, heck, I mean, what more could there possibly be? But then you see the revolving door. It's always going to be revolving when you're working with independent contractors. You have the pressure of, being available to so many people and really feeling as if it's up to you to make sure those agents are producing, right? Then you have to enlist others to teach and give back to them, which a lot of people in the brick and mortar, especially what I experienced at my own company and another brand that I was shortly at, nobody wanted to share their secrets. Nobody wanted to breed competition within their own neighborhood. They really wanted to keep that within. And so it really fell on me as that broker owner to keep constantly teaching and so forth. And then you talk about the liability, you talk about compliance, you talk about the accounting, the 1099s, the paying the Zillow, paying the CoStar, paying what all of this stuff is. And when I was introduced to eXp, I was 39 years old. And my first reaction was, well, I'm not ready to retire. But what I was ready for was that succession plan, because I also knew if something happened to me, Gillis and Realty was out the door. It was gone. There was nobody to step in and take control of that. Not my husband, not another agent in that office, and certainly not my kids because they weren't even of age. And so I looked at eXp as that stepping stone of here's finally the succession plan where I can still build my brand, make it bigger, make it global now, Gillis and Realty, now Gillis and Global, do business across the country and multiple countries, but not worry so much about building a real estate brokerage to my local market. I've built, and so many of us here at eXp, we've built all over the world.
Yeah.
And that's what is, I think, just recession proof. It is not something that, it's building, it's growing, and it's scaling. And being able, like you said, with all the agents that are giving back, I mean, that's simply because we're all owners of this company. We're all earning stock. So it behooves all of us to make sure that we're all successful, which is why the collaboration is off the charts.
Absolutely.
I think too, with a lot of these large, I mean, because just in the last 3 weeks, I mean, if we go back many months, obviously there's more, but just in the last 3 weeks, Inman was publishing every single day, the real deal, you name it. And this one's moving too. And we're seeing 150 agent brokerage. We're seeing 175 agent brokerage. We saw a 300 agent brokerage, and in some of these states where, there's not that many agents in the states, and then this entire brokerage is moving over, and you look at them and that's, I think, exactly where they're at is, they're in that, okay, the market is pivoting. It's not like it was the last 3 years. How do I build a plan that's going to survive? And are you seeing when you're meeting with them, that's exactly what their thought process is?
It is. They're getting nervous, and their agents are looking at how they're surviving. So the agents are looking to make moves as well. So in that, absolutely, those broker owners are. There's got to be their profit really is a very thin margin or upside down in a lot of cases. So if they're able to, really eliminate some of their bottom line expenses, then obviously that's going to help them by moving over. But I was listening to Dave Kennord this morning on our Alpha Influencer call, and he was talking about, our net right now, just because NAR in general, we're losing agents. The greater good.
National Association of Realtors is losing agents.
They're losing agents. And we're not immune from that. We're losing agents as well. But for the most part, the agents that we're losing are the ones that are really not in production. So it's like 85% of them are one home sale in the last year or zero. So we're right now, agents that are, really looking are ones that are in production. So we're getting those brokerages right now, and they're highly productive as far as like as a whole. You might have some on the roster that's not, but what we're seeing right now is the serious ones. It's like when you're in a holiday market, like the seasonal, you might see, homeowners or buyers are not out there looking for homes usually around Thanksgiving and Christmas unless they really need to move. So what we're seeing now is the ones that really need to move. There is some pain, and we are the solution for that. So it's a really good feeling when we know that we're taking, a 300 agent brokerage, 150 agent brokerage, and we're giving them a much better solution for their business now and for in the long term, just by using all the technology tools support that we have plugging into us, and they can immediately change their projection of their business. And so that's a really good feeling that when we're able to provide that. So
absolutely. And I know, that day one, and I didn't even realize this until it physically happened, but, day one, when I moved my brokerage over, what I immediately saw the benefit in was the buying power of a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded brokerage with absolutely no debt, and the access to tools and what they were costing at $85 per month when I was spending upwards of $1,600 per month per agent. I mean, day one, when I was able to cancel those accounts because all my agents came to eXp and reaped those benefits, it netted me another $147,000 a year in overhead I no longer had. So right there was a massive raise. Mm-hmm. And then you add in the time that I got back. The time not to have to be, in that role of, because we do have so much great staff. I had a front office person, I had an office manager, and, and I had an assistant manager that also handled our marketing. And, the thing about it is that eXp, you times that by 2,000, right? At any given time, there's concierge, there's accounting, there's, a whole marketing center, there's the technology team, there's the CRM, there's the education, the eXp University, the growth team. Nobody builds a brokerage and has a growth team. I mean, it's the broker that's growth, it's the broker that's manager, it's the broker that's the owner. And honestly, the definition of that, I always say now being on this side of it, I was nothing more than the bank when I was that broker owner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's a valid point. Like we have an entire growth team that is our job is to help our agents to grow and to put more money in that. We're so agent centric, and the growth team is ready, willing, and able, having appointments every single day with teams and brokerages, and finding solutions to help bring them over. And it's amazing feeling. Another thing, as far as the broker rooms that we have in the world, the access to talking to a broker and getting an answer is so much faster. And you think that it's not, because everyone, we're virtual. And so how do I get answers to that? Well, I walk into a broker stateroom, and there's sometimes 7 or 8 brokers like on the floor that bring you straight back to their table, and you can get instant answers. They will sit with you for an hour if you need, and discuss whatever it is that whatever's going on in the transaction that you need help with. And the place I was at before, an amazing broker we had, but there was a broker hotline. Sometimes you wouldn't hear back from them for 24 to 48 hours. And so to me, it's the accessibility of everyone, like you said, the concierge, like we are all here, and at the click of a button, or the ring of a phone or whatever, like we're so accessible. And I think that is one of the most beneficial thing for agents that move over to us, that they have access to all our systems, tools, and people. And it's even the leadership. So they are super accessible. I talk to these brokerage owners, and they're like, well, I had a call with Glenn, just a couple of days ago. And I'm like, do you know how crazy that is? And it's not always the 300 person one or the 1,000 agent one. It's sometimes like, the 50 agent one, but he is like that. He wants to be a part of it. We're super agent centric. And so that's
100%. And you know, and my brokerage was not 150 agents, okay? And I'll never forget in February of 2018, before we moved, and we're still in that moment, it was a Saturday at 8:08 p.m. Eastern time. I was on a call with Glenn Sanford. So, and I was not the 150 agent brokerage, right? I mean, that was not what we were. And we were in Louisville, Kentucky, of all places. It wasn't, you know, so, but you know, that is the truth, you know, behind the connectivity. And you know, it's great because when I hear these stories, and someone that I brought into eXp, you know, she was so adamant about how she loved her brokerage, that, you know, she was very loyal. To her, it wasn't about split. It wasn't about the stock. It wasn't about the revenue share. She was very loyal to her existing brokerage and her existing broker. And, you know, what ended up happening is it always does. Something happens to where, you know, there's a riff, and it happened. And she ended up coming to eXp. And she said, you know what, Stephanie? She goes, I am so amazed that, you know, I loved my broker, respected him, still do. His office was about 4 doors away from my office in our brick and mortar. I have spoken and had more interactions with my new broker at eXp than I ever did being 4 doors away from my broker when we shared the same building. And so, but again, that was one of her biggest concerns is how could this be possible? But it is. I think we do more. We hear each other better. We truly hear each other better because of how we're interacting all the time. You know, it's not a pass in the hallway. It's a true important conversation that really gets to the root of that problem solving. And even with the brokers having the contract compliance specialist, that's a huge, you know, because these are licensed individuals in that state that are there as backing as well, to where forms, documents, contracts, problems with negotiation. Not only do you have these broker teams, but you have those teams as well. And everybody is suited to serve. And, you know, even when I ran, and we'll get into what you did as well, but even when I ran a 221 agent office, we didn't have that level of staff. It was me and 2 other people. We didn't have all these other opportunities to go and get help.
Yeah. And another thing is we can cherry pick the best of the best, right? Because we are virtual, and, you know, if we don't have to have someone that can, you know, needs to be within a 30-minute drive. So for me, like, I'm like, we're able to really choose the ones that really have the agent's interests first. And we have a bat phone between operations and growth, because oftentimes, you know, because we're forward facing, there will be things that agents will come to us with. And so we immediately, like, our sole goal is to be accessible for these agents and solve their problems and create solutions. And so I love that we're all working together, between departments right now, and the agent always is first. And so we're coming up with solutions together. We're hand holding them through their problem, and if there is a problem, we don't just let it sit there. We're coming up with different levels of solutions. And I love that, again, that agent centric mentality. It's not just something that we talk about, it's something that we do, and it's what is who we are. So yes.
Absolutely. So, Amy, talk to us about, you know, I mean, and I know you can't go into all kinds of private details, but what's next for eXp? I mean, you know, we're in the month of April. It's 2023. We've got shareholders coming up next month, which is going to be a huge in-person, awesome event in Orlando. Tons of collaboration. I mean, the entire conference is not set around, you know, the executive teams speaking to an audience. It's all about agents sharing with agents, you know, and bringing true value so that we all leave there, you know, with additional industry knowledge that helps our business scale and grow. So tell us what else is out there on the horizon.
So, I mean, always we have something here. We never sit still. We're always looking for something to grow, to be better, to have more opportunities for our agents. And so one of the big things right now is luxury. And I actually happen to be leading the luxury division, and it is growing every day and getting better every single day. We lifted at eXpCon last year is when we announced it coming out. So we were in Vegas and they're like, hey, we're going to do a luxury division. And they were thinking like maybe 50 people would be interested. Well, the interest was massive. And so we actually started to take applications, and they became members the end of November, beginning of December. And so I will say that, building something like that is kind of a hard lift, and I'm transparent with that. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen in the back end to really be great going forward. So we had a few hiccups, we ironed some things out, but the vision of luxury for me is just a feather in our cap for who we are, and the platform for eXp and attracting those kinds of agents. We have some of the best that are on the Agent Advisory Council. We have Janie Coffey, Pete Middleton, who are co-chairing the luxury division. We have Tina Call, we have Ed Kaminsky and Jana Caudill, and they are just amazing luxury agents. They're out there, they're doing it, they have knowledge of it, they know marketing, they know how to sell luxury. And so the vision that they have as far as the masterminds we're doing, the events that we're creating are just infectious. And so I get to also be on calls with luxury agents every day that are looking for a platform where they're not spending hundreds of thousands or not giving their brokerage hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? We do have that $16,000 cap, and so much value within our luxury division as far as, the listing syndication and, global exposure, and the tools that we have for them to go on a listing appointments, and be able to, do better than the other agents.
Right.
Being against. And so the clients see the value when they're saying, oh, we have all this exposure, and this is included with the luxury membership. It's just incredible. I've already been passing referrals back and forth between luxury agents across the country. And that's just the ones I see. They're doing it on their own as well.
Right.
But we're building a community of agents that are, they're going to do more business. They're going to have more listings. Their knowledge is going to be greater. And then the referrals are just opportunities are massive. So really, really excited about the luxury division and where we're going. And like I said, every single day we get stronger, and we're growing, and we expect to, have 1,000 luxury agents by the end of the year. We expect another big influx at shareholders. And I'm glad you mentioned shareholders, because someone asked me the other day, like, why should I go to shareholders? It's like, oh my gosh, like for everything I just said, like if you pick up one piece of knowledge, and it really is, we polled the agents and we asked the agents, like, who do you want to hear from and what content is going to be most beneficial to your business? And so it is literally developed by agents they handpick like who they wanted and what content. And so it is not a bunch of corporate people speaking to the agents. It is agent to agent, and it's sharing. And if you pick up one piece that's going to help you grow your business, then that's worth it. You're going to network with other agents. So again, the referral opportunities, and just a great experience to collaborate with your peers, and just to be more knowledgeable in the real estate industry, right? There's always something that you're going to pick up. I always went to events, no matter if I could afford it or not. Like I'm going to figure it out, because I know that I'm going to be better when I leave. And that means I'm going to have more business, and I'm going to be able to, show up in a whole different way. And that's always the goal. So there's no way.
Absolutely. And Amy, what you've done with this luxury and all of them that have been working on it, it is impressive. I mean, if agents have not checked out expluxury.com, they need to. It is impressive. All of those people, including yourself, all came from other established luxury brokerages. So you know what it was, they know what it was like at the other firms, and have, brought this together, not fast, but in the right way to make it work. And I mean, that listing syndication is huge. And I had an agent the other day that said, well, and I'm not going to say the company name, I'm here and I'm here because of luxury. This is what they do. You all are not known for luxury. And so I sent him that site and did the whole overview, and he was blown away because he hadn't seen it yet. So I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people haven't heard of it yet, obviously, but it is extremely impressive. And just to be armed with that type of marketing material to go into that listing and know it looks good or better than the competition, that's what agents care about, right? Because we don't have time to reinvent all of those things. We need things done for us. We need to plug in the content that's ours and then be able to go and land that massive deal. And that's exactly what you all have done. So kudos to you all for that.
Yeah, it's exciting. And we've partnered with a third party that is really like known for luxury, and it's a white glove. Like, if an agent has a listing, that a $3 million listing, and they're like, I have no idea what to do, even though we've given them the formula, there's masterminds all around it. We have someone like reach out to them right away and handhold them through everything that they need to do. So it is a true concierge. And I'm just excited about how this is helping those agents become stronger and get more business. That's what we're all about. Like, we just want them to have that platform, have the solutions to be able to put in front of that seller. And they're like, this is like not even, this is no competition. I'm going with you because you've got everything I need to get this listing sold. And so we're showing up better. We are better. And then that collaboration between agents is just making us all so much stronger. So that's exciting. Yeah.
And I love that you mentioned that whole white glove service, because, a lot of people will say, oh, you all have the low cap and you share in revenue because you don't have anybody that helps you do anything. So false, isn't it?
I feel like we are always helping people do everything. Like, it is just like, it's like the absolute opposite. It's like what you said earlier, agents don't usually like to share. They're like, no, I don't want to share. I don't want you taking my secrets. Well, we just had a regional rally, and our top agents were up there giving everything that they've ever done to wind up as an iconic agent. They're an icon agent. Yeah. And here's what I did to get there. And here's a QR code, download everything here. And so regional rallies across the country, that's another thing that we're going to continue to do, because they were massively successful. The energy, and we're celebrating production, and we're celebrating those agents that are doing their first deals, and the ones that are halfway to cap, and the ones that are capping, and the ones that are iconing. And I couldn't even believe in the Charlotte area when they said, okay, like, if you're an icon agent, line up. I looked, and the line just kept going and going and going. I was
like, you're like, how long are we here for?
And I was like, that's $800,000 in stock that those guys
that was given
right here. Like, it was insane. And I was so excited to see it, because like, just to have a visual of that in one area, I was like, that is insane to me, that $800,000 in stock giving back to them just for doing the business that they were already doing. Right?
Already doing. Yeah.
Crazy. Same thing in Atlanta. I went to Atlanta. The energy was off the charts. The agents are so excited. They're sharing with each other. We were able, again, to, have that networking, and agents getting to know agents and celebrate together, share. There's some agents that can't necessarily afford to go to shareholders, but that's why we're like, okay, we're going to have these all across the country in these pockets.
So everyone has an opportunity.
And you can invite guests too. So it's not just only about eXp agents, because we want them to make the industry stronger as a whole. And so we want to be the company that, for luxury, for production, and we're doing it. We're not just wanting to do it, we're doing it. So it's exciting. And we're going to have another round of that in the fall of this year. So that's going to be another opportunity for our agent. And it's agent led, by the way, corporate supported in the way that we showed up. And we were there for them. And I got to speak on stage about the vision of eXp. And I got to do that, but it was agent led. Agents emceed it. It was so much fun. We were able to really let those agents shine in their own way, and they did an amazing job. So I'm super proud of all the effort
they did.
that went into that. Yeah, it was great.
It was awesome. And, and it really does. It just shows our core values as to what's important. Agents leading it because it is about the agents. It's, hey, we all love everybody at corporate. We love, Glenn, everybody puts so much effort and time into it. Just the best leadership in this company. But I also love the fact that the agents, you elevate every single one of them every single day to be a leader themselves as well. And that's what this is about. Amy, thank you so much for spending your time with us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. You guys, you should know, like Stephanie, every time she would talk about commercial I'm like, I want to be a commercial agent because it was just so infectious. And so it's my honor to be here with you and to be able to share this platform with you and talk with you today. You're one of my very favorites. Love you.
Thank you. Love you. See you soon in the flesh, May.
Yes, Orlando. I'll see you there.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye.